Hello, it's me again. Just doing a little update. Maybe I'm gonna talk about something. My sales are doing really well because Christmas and everything seems to be okay, except that the weather's really messing with me because we're expecting a really bad storm. We don't know how bad it's gonna get because these types of storms are. It could be like ready to fuck us up, and then it could just like skim over, that kind of stuff. It's just one of those kinds. The really bad ones are really hard to predict, so it's kind of that. So the weather's messing with me a little bit. And I had to go get milk, and it was like really cold, but I was wearing layers. Um, I have jeans on, and then I have stretchy pants under my jeans. I got fuzzy socks, and I got this big sweatshirt. And then when I put on my coat, I put on my fishing hoodie and my big heavy coat. And they're saying we need masks again, so I wore a mask because I can't find my scarf. Um, a lot of my stuff has just gone missing. I don't know if somebody took it or they just dumped it somewhere and didn't tell me. So that's kind of a problem with living with a lot of people. They oftenly do stupid, selfish things, and just it goes over their head why that's a problem. So that's just there, not here nor there. So I haven't found the stuff or not found the stuff. So I don't know what happened to it. I have a sneaking suspicion that some of it got stolen by the ex-roommate because he kind of was. That's how he survives, is by taking things that don't belong to him. So, and we didn't know that until he lived with us. So that's there. But anyways, more positive thing. My sales are doing very well. I think I'm at the end where I actually have to worry about Christmas stuff, and I need to start thinking about Valentine's. And I might have left the cat in the closet. Bathroom. No? Oh fuck. No, it was my daughter scaring the shit out of me as usual. Ginger? I'm doing a video. I just had gingerbread. Because I went to the store. Ginger. But yeah, more positive stuff. I found gingerbread cookies at the store. I know we've been having some trouble getting stuff. But I found like bakery gingerbread cookies. It's really hard to find gingerbread, so I'm gonna try them. I believe that's Jasper. Hi, Jasper. Hello. um, mm. They're a little hard, but they are flavorful. So I kind of expected them to be a little crunchy because they made more to fit in this mold. Mm. Mm. I like the softer ones better, but can't find them, so there's that. Mm. Um, yeah, so there. It's actually really good. It's just crunchy. Got 'em at Fred Meyer's. It's been really hard to find the Christmas goodies. Even the little cookies we like are gone. They're just gone. People are just getting stuff they need, and Christmas will still be fine even if we can't get what we want. It'll still happen. It's gonna happen. We already got lots of presents under our tree, so we're not too worried about us. But we don't have a lot of people to really worry about, so that's fine. Um, I'm glad to see the temperature's already warmer than it was saying. Um, so hopefully that's a good sign for the storm, because there's one day where it's like they're expecting it to get down to like -30, and I'm like really hoping not. But depending on which model is actually being more um weather model, because Eli, my son, watches this called Washington Storm Chasers, and they did several videos on this storm and like the different models. The European model says one thing, the Canadian model says another, and then there's another model, I forget what he called it. It says something completely different. So it's just like that's just what that is. We're getting ready for the storm and everything, and it's whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. I just hope it doesn't get too cold because I don't know that I can actually be cold like that. It just hurts all the time when I'm cold. But oh yeah, the topic that I wanted to talk about now that I'm thinking about that because I think I'm done with the whole Christmas stuff. Um, is I've been thinking a lot about relationships, and I know a lot of people are having the same problems. Like, how do you know when to cut somebody off? How do you know if somebody's good for you? And that can be really hard to answer, but especially the who's good for you, because that really depends on things, on information that you may not have access to. Because, like, one of the things that got me thinking is, like, I know there's two guys on my friends list that I went to high school with, and they were pretty decent kids, nice. Maybe they could have been Mr. Right for me, but we didn't date for whatever reason. And I asked myself, why didn't I date them? Because they're still doing really well, pretty nice. They got these amazing spouses, these amazing families. But it all boils down to, like, when you're a teenager, your values are way different than they are when you're an adult. Things that you think are important when you're 17 aren't going to seem important when you're 27. So, and now I'm like 50, so that's even a bigger difference. So, I don't want to like mess with their relationships or anything because, it's not going to do any good to be like, well, why didn't this happen back then? Well, and the other thing is that I was going through shit, and these two guys were from better families. So, social status, your position, your viewed position in society is very important when you're a teenager. It's not so much important when you're an adult. Also, they might not have been able to even even slightly comprehend what I was going through when I was a teenager, and they may not have the patience for what I still need as an adult. So that's something that I don't know because I'm not in that relationship with them. That somebody else is, and they're doing great. I'm not saying that they're wrong or anything. I'm just saying this is my process on that. I don't know why I didn't date them in high school. I don't know why I didn't view either one of them as dating material. It was just like, well, I know I didn't know the one very well because he's really super jockhead back then, and you know, the jocks didn't really seem to be going anywhere back then. And also, I didn't know him that well. We didn't really have a lot in common. We didn't have the same social circles. Yeah, that's right there. We didn't really have access to each other, even though were forced to go to school like 5 days a week together. We didn't even have a lot of classes together, so it wasn't like we had a lot of access, and we didn't really have a lot of shared interests. But the other guy, he did have a shared interest. He was very artistic. He played guitar, all that cool stuff. It was just, but I think with everything that I'd been through, it was just nice to be able to be around a guy without having to worry about him doing something weird, like sticking his hand down your pants or telling you what you're going to do for him. When no, that's not what's going to happen. So I think I was just kind of enjoying the fact that I could relax around this guy when and just didn't think about, hey, are we compatible? I think that's all that was. But then once we got out of high school, I got kicked out of foster care, so that last year I didn't have any contact with anybody. And once we got out of high school, we all went our separate ways, and life happened. So I probably this why I didn't date them back then. It's probably just simply that teenage values are way different than adult values, and I didn't see, also not having um the examples for manhood or adulthood that they got. I probably just didn't even catch the signs that they were decent people. So it's not a here or there thing. I don't think it's even anybody's fault, and I don't even know if either one of them saw me as being dating material. um I was a very attractive child, apparently, but I just was really weird, so people didn't really get that. So that's something you had to deal with. It's still kind of weird, but Now that I'm an adult, it's just like, yeah, I'm weird, deal with it. But back when you're like 17, you're like, oh my God, they're gonna notice. It's just different perspectives. So that's all that is. I don't know how to find a guy, but
What are you even talking about?
stuff, go away. uh, children. But yeah, and then the other thing I've had going on with me lately is that I've had some friends starting to act really strangely towards me, and I don't know what's going on. Now, with the one, she is older. It is possible that she's having some kind of an old age issue, and that maybe she's not aware that she's behaving that way. And she's not like super aggressive, so it's not, I don't know. Or that certain behaviors might be seen as rude or disrespectful, kind of thing. Or if maybe I did do something and I just don't know. But as far as I know, I didn't do anything to make her mad. So I'm just gonna leave that be because she's, like I said, she's older. When people get older, the brains don't work quite the way they should. Um, so that's just the thing there. But then sometimes, but then I think it's important to mention that if you're having friends that are like constantly like everything's about me, they're up in your face, they take control of everything, they try to take things from you, like relationships, you know, stuff like that. Somebody like that you don't want around you at all. Because that person is all about themselves, they don't care about anybody else. Plus, the cool, great things that you see somebody else having um, in their lives is their thing. You can't take it. It's not your thing. You can't take something that doesn't belong to you. So that's kind of something I think a lot of people don't get. Like they met, they married, they're doing good. You can't step in there and go shove his wife out of the way and go, "I'm your real loved one." It's just that's not how it works. Um, that's probably going to guarantee that they don't like you. Um, and some people don't realize that at all because they're stuck on what they're thinking, what they want. That's somebody you don't want around because they're just gonna continuously attention seek. I haven't been having that issue too much now that I'm older because a lot of women don't see me as being pretty or competition, but I do see it going on with other my younger people that I'm friends with. I do see that some of them are having issues with people being like that with them, but it's like the thing with relationships is they're give and take. You got to give each other space, and then like how close you are or aren't optimally depends on how well you know each other or don't know each other. Because I got a lot of online friends that I have never met, but they're good people and they're friendly. And I'm not going to be able to meet up for coffee because I'm not going to get on a plane to go to, say, South Carolina just to hang out with some guy I met online and his family for like coffee or donuts or something. That'd be kind of weird. Um, But I don't know where that friendship is going to go. We could wind up deciding to be closer friends. Not like boyfriend, girlfriend, or anything, because he's married. We don't deal with that. Don't mess with that. Never mess with a married man. Never. It doesn't end well. Because if they'll cheat on their wife, they'll cheat on you. That's the thing. But how do I know that we're not going to wind up being closer friends or that some fate twist isn't going to force me to the same area and we'll get to know each other better? We don't know that. But I'm not going to just like fly to North Carolina and have coffee with the guy and his wife. Um, yeah, that's just nonsense. So I can't really expect to be too close to that person because they're far, far away. Um, but I do have friends that I actually know from Bellingham. Of course, we can't hang out because I can't travel. I don't have any money. I don't travel well. My health issues are bad, and so I can't travel, and they can't afford to travel. So I can't really be like, you gotta come here. It's a long distance. The weather's bad. I don't want to put them through that. So, my friendships right now are kind of distant because we can't be together. But that doesn't mean they're not my friends. That just means everything's online. That and that sometimes that's just how it is. It's just everything's online. Um, one of these days, I'll find a Mr. Right. But I know from my really good friends what type of things to look for in a Mr. Right. Like, you know, not being married or being in some sort of a relationship with someone else that would create a problem between him and I. Because I mean, sometimes the problem with a person isn't that person. Sometimes the problem is that they're got an overbearing parent, usually the mother, but it can be the father too. Um, just an overbearing parent, and if they just randomly decide they don't like you, they're just gonna do everything they can to make their kid not like you. And if that kid can't figure out that the parent is being manipulative, then you just gotta go, well, nice to know ya, bye. Bye. Because that's just how it is, as far as dating goes. You can stay friends with the person, in my case guy, because I'm attracted to men. But yeah, you just don't. There's so many levels of those things that you just, like, I want to find a decent family oriented guy who either works or has some type of income so he's not constantly bugging me for money, who's willing to do these little care things for me when I need them, um instead of always wanting me to take care of him with nothing being given my way. Because that's been my relationships. I've been putting everything forth for these guys and they ain't doing shit for me. And that's not fair. That's not fair. Um, it's a give and take thing. I want family oriented because I have kids. I want grandkids. I don't care if the dude has kids. I just don't want the wife to still be in a specific position. I should say the children's mother to be in a specific position where she still thinks she can get back to him and where he's still letting her think she can get back to him, because that's going to cause problems. Because she's going to be like, you're in my spot. This is my house. Those are my kids. This is my man, my future, my everything. You start seeing that, and you just walk away. Especially if he's not telling her to shut up, or asking her if she took her meds, or things like that. If he's not putting her in her place, then you definitely know there's a problem. He's not over her. That's also part of the reason why one of my rules is I don't date men with super young children, because I do know of a large number of males who are emotionally immature on a specific level, and they will get you pregnant and walk away. And then after the baby's born, they'll start having second thoughts and they'll try to come back. And so, like, if I know a guy that has super young children who's interested in me, I'm probably not going to be too interested in him, because I do know that he may go back to the child's mother or try to, and that's not going to be good for me, because I'm going to be like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Um, yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, that's actually happened to me, so I don't really want to do that. I've had it from both sides, where I've had a guy say that he's interested in me and try to get me interested in him, and then go back to his girlfriend. I mean, nothing happened in that relationship, didn't go anywhere because it wasn't going to go anywhere, but I didn't know it at the time, and it was kind of devastating because I thought this guy liked me, but he actually didn't. I just reminded him of sex. Um, that's not healthy. And I've also had the situation where the guy got me pregnant, took off, and then came back, had regrets and came back. And that's also not real healthy, because it's just, yeah, we did the deed. Things happen. Why are you taking off? Of course, this stuff was when I was younger, but I noticed that guys my age have this obsession with having children. And I'm like, we old, dude. Why do you want a baby? I mean, we're not ancient, but we're getting there. 50's old ish, kind of middle aged these days, but it's still kind of old. I mean, we're starting to get the aches and pains and health issues popping up. You don't want to have a brand new baby. Yeah, it's grand unless it's a grandbaby. I mean, but yeah, I'm noticing that with men around my age, and I'm just think that's kind of weird. Um, but I don't know if it's a society thing, because some men seem to think that the more kids you have, the better of a person you are, even though you can't take care of as many kids as some of these guys have. It's just a weird thing. So you gotta look for the little signs that something like that's going on. And just anybody who's just being disrespectful or rude or discrediting you or discounting you or just making you feel like you're not important, um, that's something to watch out for because they may not be ready for a relationship. Even if he is a super great guy and your friend says he's amazing, you're not getting that from this guy. That's not the feeling you're getting. He's dismissing you. You just haven't figured it out yet. Um, so yeah, one of these days I might date again. I don't know. I just kind of haven't really met anybody my age that's mature enough to bother. And the younger guys just aren't mature either. So I don't know. I'm definitely at an age range where the reason that these guys are still single is pretty obvious and they aren't growing up. So I don't know. I can't, and I'm not going to sit around and be like hyper focused on why this person doesn't like me anymore because it doesn't do me any good. I mean, people tell me all the time that I did or said something. My voice is like fingernails on a chalkboard. I don't remember what the other one was, but then you try to get them to give you specific information as to what it is to try to figure out if is this something I can change or is this other person's problem. And they won't give me any information as to specifically what it is that I'm doing that's annoying them, which tells me that my existence is what's annoying them. And I'm not gonna stop existing because somebody who hasn't really shown themselves to be important to me at all is annoyed. So I can't change that. Do, I can't fix you. You have to, if you can't tell me specifically what I'm doing that's annoying, then I'm just going to assume that it's your problem and I might stop associating with you because if I can't change my voice, I don't have any control over certain things. I have all these weird neurological issues that just happen. So if you're uncomfortable with that, go away. I mean, I can't change those things. It's weirdness. I say things weird all the time. I can't pronounce words all the time. I'm being told it's a type of aphasia that is normal for fibro patients. Also, I've had head injuries, so that could be another reason why I have them. I can't control someone else's opinion of what's happening to me. And then I just have these weird random things that just sort of happen. Because I've got fibro, I've got metabolic issues, I've got immuno problems, and I've got issues relating to being abused. I'm just a hot little mess. If you can't handle it, then shoo off. Go away. That's how I have to be because I mean you can't make everybody happy, you can't be friends with everybody, and I think that's a problem that a lot of people have, especially those of us who haven't had the greatest of lives, because we want that in our adulthood. We want to be loved and cared for and cherished and treated like we're something, like we're humans, like we belong, like like um like we matter. We never got that when we were kids. Um, or if we did, it was so rare we kind of don't know how to handle being told something positive about ourselves because we've been told negative things our whole lives. Um, so that's just where I am with my thing with relationships. I'm trying to have this no abuse type of mentality. So, like, if somebody is actually abusive, then they're cut off. If they do stuff that's actually abusive, they're cut off. I don't care. You don't really care about me, so I don't. How do you expect me to care about you? I mean, people make you scared or uncomfortable, then that's not a good thing. If they're hurting you, that's not a good thing. Especially if it's physically hurting you, it's definitely not a good thing. Sometimes we take comments wrong. So, and some, like I'd said, that there are issues where people might get snippy. I'm not really talking about that. Like somebody who's normally really nice being snippy or distant could mean that there's something going on in their life or they're developing some kind of a emotional or some kind of issue and they're not dealing with it very well. That's something you can back off and then come back and revisit later or ask them if they're doing all right. Because that's not normal for them. Um, but yeah, when I say no abuse, I'm talking about like people who are constantly doing things that make you uncomfortable or asking you for more than they should be, or even demanding sex early in a relationship. That can be abusive to some people. And like people that were raised like me, that definitely is. Because I've been hypersexualized since I was a young child, and I don't want to be hypersexualized when I'm 50 years old and I know that I'm not that pretty anymore. I mean, I'm not ugly, but I'm not, you know, I don't get cat calls anymore, so it happens. Um, we get older, it happens. But that's just what it is. One of the things that I'm having troubles with as far as making friends that are closer is that this Spokane really feels isolating. It's a big city with a lot of people, but people don't really associate with you. I mean, like they don't talk to you. They don't do things. They don't want to hang out. They don't want to do crafts things. They don't want to do anything. So I gotta figure out where the people are that might want to be my friends. And I think I maybe need to start working on friends before I really think about boyfriends, because um I might need a support system if something goes south, because yeah, I am getting into an age where things are not exactly ideal as far as your health concerns go. But yeah, I just kind of want that relationship I never got, where it's okay for me to ask to be taken care of, where it's okay for me to say that I need something or I want something, and they don't manipulate it into what they want. Because, like, my husband once told me he was getting me a desk, and he'd asked, because I wanted a desk, I needed a desk, and he actually bought a TV because he wanted the TV. And gave me a TV because he wanted it. Yeah, apparently he'd given one of my children a video game system because he wanted it. And he knew that I wouldn't let him buy the second one unless it was for one of the kids. So, yeah, that's where that was. And I didn't want TVs and video game machines in the kids' room because I've seen so many kids just play video games all night and then not be able to get up for school. I didn't want that to be what was going on with my kids. So that's the kind of things I just don't want to be in an abusive, neglectful relationship anymore, especially when it comes to dating. And I do have the right to say no. I do have the right to say that's not happening. I do have rights, and the people need to realize that. So I don't know. Maybe I need to find some people that do realize that, but I don't know where they are because I'm not familiar with Spokane. I had a few friends like that in Bellingham. I think they're still my friends. I shouldn't say had, like past tense. But I had friends like that in Bellingham that did understand things and were a support system, and we were a supportive system for each other. But here I don't really have that yet. So I gotta work on figuring that out. But yeah, I think I've rambled on long enough about relationships. I just kind of want people to be happy and healthy, and I want people to know that it's okay to say no if somebody's making you feel uncomfortable or unsafe. Because I think a lot of times we don't get those messages. Boys, girls, it doesn't matter who you are, what you're thinking, where your drives are. I don't really think it matters who a person is per se. But we all have the right to feel safe and comfortable with the people who are around us. And like I said, it's harder for those of us who were raised like I was, where it's just abuse on top of abuse, and then you're just weird and everybody thinks you're weird. And that's pretty much all you get. The only input you're getting is you're weird, something's wrong with you, and it's not. But it's not. It's your situation has put you in a spot where you didn't develop correctly because you couldn't develop correctly. And that's all that is. But yeah, one of these days I'll probably find me a fella. I'm not too ugly yet. Like I said, I don't think I'm ugly. People tell me I'm ugly all the time, but I don't know where that's coming from. But that's another thing. We need to stop saying people are ugly when we're mad at them or we're upset about something. People say things like that when they're being mean. So yeah, I'm gonna head off, and I'm hoping you guys have a Merry Christmas because we're planning on it. It looks like it's gonna be merry. We got our presents. My last one is out for delivery. Woohoo! And I don't know if the guys have shopped yet or not, but there's so many presents under the tree that if they don't do anything, it's not gonna have that big of an impact, except maybe on Shania. But um, but yeah, Christmas is gonna be nice. We have people potentially coming over. It's gonna be good. So I'm gonna let you guys go and have a Merry Christmas and a good day and all that good stuff. And I hope you guys all have wonderful times with your wonderful families and loved ones. Um, those people who care about you and want you to be successful. And I hope you know how to tell the difference between somebody who's wants you to be successful and happy and somebody who just wants you to do what they say or have some weird idea of who you are based on some odd experience that happened somewhere else at some other point. So have a good day, have Merry Christmas. Talk to you later.